Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sly Client, the Tech Dad, and I'm back with another video. And just so you know, I was not planning on releasing one this soon. As you know, my last video was the GPD G1. But man, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get back in front of you and tell you about what my experience is like. And if you think about it, you know, lots of times when someone will review a product or they'll do an unboxing, you know, they'll want to play with it for a while, and they'll give you their impressions of what they thought about it after they've like literally done everything. Well, I'll tell you, I've the experience that I've had so far with this product, like 3 days in, I need to share it with you right now. Exactly what I think about it, because I'm still working my way through some kinks. There's lots of aspects of it that I'm loving, and I just wanted to share that with you. And also, too, I just wish there were more videos that would talk a little bit about, like, the day 2 or 3 experiences. So I'm hoping to be able to give you a little bit more information about that. But the one thing that I do want to talk about today is how it acts with the GPD Win Mini. Man, this is a beautiful combo here. Oh man, together, and I'm gonna say up front, I'm not gonna jump too far ahead and talk about all the great things about it, because it is a really good combination. But what I will say is, sitting back with the Mini like this, kick back in my chair, and it being connected to that dock and getting that extra performance out of it. Oh man, it's an experience that I wish a lot of other gamers got a chance to actually to have the ability to do. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Like I said, there's been a little bit of trial error, a lot of user error. I'll be completely honest with you, because there are a lot of aspects of this. For example, the device comes with 2 different cables. Here's the Oculus cable. And you know what? I've been doing my research a little bit on Oculus cables and like how they interact, and I've heard various things. I've gotten the impression that they're a little flimsy, and they're a little bit delicate. They're a little bit more delicate than the normal cable. I don't know if you can see here in the close-up shot, but I'll tell you, one of the things that I didn't realize was the fact that it's really satisfying when actually connecting the dock together. So let me give you an example here. Let's get this right. If I plug it in this way, it actually feels, and I know you can't hear it, but it actually feels pretty satisfying going in. Now, mind you, you have to be a little bit gentle with it, because I don't think it doesn't feel like it should be bent all that much. But as long as you're careful with that, I don't think you should have a problem. And it actually comes out fairly easy too. Snaps right out. Push it in. This end gets connected to the GPD Win Mini. So in order for you to get the full power out of the device, what you also need to do is not only connect the Oculus cable to the Mini, but you also need to connect the USB 4 cable, mainly for being able to get power to the device. But with that said, last night I was tinkering around with this a little bit, and one of the things that I noticed that I actually didn't like at all, so it was the very first time that I decided to use the 3.2 USB ports on the back, these ones right here, as you can see. So I had the Oculus cable hooked up on one end, and then I had the Oculus and the USB 4 going directly into the Mini. And I tried to use the USB ports on the back, and I could not figure out why my mouse and keyboard weren't working. I'm trying everything. I'm like, did I plug the wrong cable in? Is this the actual cord that it came with? Didn't even know what to think at that point. But once again, I reached out to the folks on the trusty GPD Discord, and what I found was, in order to get your ports to work, what you need to do, and this is just specifically the USB C port, no, USB A ports. You need to make sure that Windows has, once you start the computer, that the Windows pops up on the screen, and then you plug in your USB 4, and then you have no problems. So once I figured that out, it was smooth sailing. Mouse worked with it, keyboard worked with it, but I will admit I am hoping that over time, they actually have a fix for that. So that's the first thing. So like I said, the experience hasn't been completely smooth. Um, Another topic that I wanted to bring up was the fact that you know upon initial setup, it was a little bit tricky getting the adrenaline drivers working properly for me. I'm not quite sure why. I did several resets. I followed all the instructions of the driver of this device, and I was also bummed to know that I needed to update the driver not only for this, but I had to actually change my driver on the GPD Mini. So for those of you who don't know, the the more stable drivers for the GPD Win Mini are from October of this past year. That's what a lot of folks are running on. When I initially got the device and I actually loaded up the most recent AMD drivers for the Mini, it was kind of like a little hitchy a little bit. It wasn't really as stable as I thought it could be. And then I found out just from, speaking to some folks who actually own this device that the October drivers work really well. And since then, I have not needed to use the newer AMD drivers at all. This system has been running so well. However, once I got the G1, you don't really have much choice. You have to move to the new drivers, and they're fine. I'm just hoping at some time in the future, AMD actually comes out with a specific driver so that the Mini and the G1 operate, really, really, really well together. And it does work well. It's just I can't pinpoint it. I've had other people that I've been chatting with that own, these two devices, and they're like, oh, the new drivers, they work fine for me, and they work fine for me too. However, something's off. Another issue that I've had with this combination of connection is the fact that some games don't necessarily do well when you're docking, undocking. So for example, if I'm running a game at 1080p native settings, not every game, some games, when I disconnect the Mini from this device and I go to plug it back in after like doing handheld for like an hour or so, and I plug it back into my external monitor, what happens is it will revert to a completely different resolution. It doesn't necessarily remember the resolution that you had while you're in docked mode. Now I'm still doing a little bit more experimentation on different games. Is it the games? Is it like the specific, do I need to restart the PC before, or do I need to restart the Mini before I take the cord out and undock it from the docking station? I don't know. It's just one of those quirks. Another thing that I realized too was it, it the, even though that they work really, really well together, the performance, I was, for some reason, I figured this out last night, I was literally up to 1:30 in the morning, chatting with folks on the Discord. I could not figure out why the GPD Win Mini was not running at the full amount of power that it could be. After exploring all sorts of options, asking questions, tinkering with it, for some reason the Mini had switched to like a power saver mode. So it wasn't getting all the power to the device. So when I went to go run a time spy test, it reflected that. Like the score was like fairly low for what like these two should be doing together. The GPD one was running like a champ, like full tilt, all the power that up to the 100 watts or whatever it is that goes in this device, it was showing on the test. So I'm literally up to 1:30 in the morning messing with this, tweaking it, playing different games, doing all kind of things like that. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, the first thing I wanted to do was run another Time Spy. I'm like, I got to change this one little setting. And then someone that I had been chatting with had said, look, enjoy them. Don't worry about trying to get an additional 100 or 200 points on your time spy score. You figured out this, because I basically at this point I had figured out the solution to what my issue was. So I just flipped the mini in Windows 11 back to a higher performance mode, and it fixed all those issues. The moral of the story is when you're dealing with these two devices, this is not going to be a plug and play situation. It's if you enjoy the tinkering and figuring it out, and I'm sure things over time will smooth out for me. I think that you're going to love this device if you're that type of person. If you're a lot of people who just like want that, what they say, hold on, let me put these down because I want to give you the quote unquote console experience. This is not it. Don't think about it. Run. Don't even bother, because it's completely not for you. Like I said, like I'm like literally on these forums and trying to figure things out. Things are going right. And one of the things I learned too is from some folks I've been talking to is who've had experience with the previous G1, and they've expressed that there is a little bit of a learning curve to really try to get it set up and working optimally. However, 98% of the time, it's the user. And that's what I encountered last night. That's why I encountered issues like that the day before. And once I actually figured out like how to set things up and how the devices interacted together, that's when I started to really start enjoying it. And it's part of the course. If this is what you wanna if this is what you want to use, like I said, not a console experience. This a full PC with an external eGPU. If that's something that interests you, it might be something that you want to consider. If not, just get the mini. Mini's dope. I love it. It's fantastic. So I'm going to call this part one of my initial experience with these two devices. And as I begin to play more games and do some more testing, I'll be sure to get back to you. Have a great day, everyone.